38 weeks pregnant. And here I am, sitting in our empty bedroom staring at Michael's suitcases by the door. Las Vegas. He really chose to go off to Las Vegas with his friends now. "It's my last chance to have fun before the baby's born," he said, as if I wasn't here, as if Madison wasn't about to arrive. My belly is huge, my feet are swollen, and my husband is all excited, packing sunscreen and sunglasses for his big adventure. Ashley, my sister, called me 3 times today. She knows. She knows it's not normal, that it's not right. But I swallowed my tears, forced a smile, and said everything was fine when Michael gave me a quick kiss and left through the door. The Uber was already waiting. He didn't even want me to see him off at the airport. Subscribe to the channel and leave a like to access more stories like this. I wake up in the middle of the night with a sharp pain. I take a deep breath, trying to stay calm, but I know it's started. The contractions are getting stronger. I glance at the clock. 3:27 a.m. I grab my phone and call Michael. It goes straight to voicemail. I try again. Nothing. No messages are coming through. I get up slowly, leaning on the bedside table. Another contraction hits me, even stronger than the last. I try to time it, 5 minutes apart. My bag has been ready for weeks, right by the door, but now it feels so far away. The pain is increasing. With trembling hands, I dial Ashley. On the 3rd ring, I hear her sleepy voice. "Sarah? What is it?" I can barely speak as another contraction sweeps over me. "The baby is coming." I hear her jump out of bed, keys clinking. "I'm on my way. Don't move." I sit on the edge of the bed, sweating. The contractions are now every 4 minutes. I try calling Michael one more time. Straight to voicemail again. I open Instagram. Pictures of him at some club, drinks, neon lights. His last update was 2 hours ago. Ashley arrives in record time. When she opens the bedroom door, I'm curled up, struggling to breathe. "Come on, sis." She grabs my bag and helps me up. On the way to the car, another contraction freezes me in place. Ashley holds my hand, firm and steady. "I'm here. You're not alone." In the back seat of the car, between gasping breaths and ever more frequent contractions, one thing becomes clear. Tonight is going to change everything. "Come on, Sarah, just a little more." The nurse's voice sounds distant. 16 hours into labor, and finally Madison is on her way. Ashley stayed by my side the entire time, holding my hand, wiping my face, being everything Michael should have been in this moment. One last push, and Madison's cry fills the room. Tears stream down my face as they place her in my arms, tiny, perfect, and completely oblivious to the chaos that brought us here. Ashley snaps photos, crying as much as I am, while the doctors finish up their procedures. Finally, after over 20 phone calls, Michael calls back. His voice is slurred, with loud music in the background. "Sarah, what's up?" Anger rises in my throat, but it's the disappointment that chokes me. "Your daughter was born, Michael, 2 hours ago." The silence on the other end says it all. He starts apologizing, words all tangled up. He says he'll catch the first flight, that he didn't think it would be now, that he's really sorry. I hang up and look at Madison, sleeping peacefully in my arms. In that moment, something inside me breaks, and at the same time, something stronger begins to build. Ashley notices the change on my face. "You don't have to keep doing this, Sarah." I shake my head, the words coming out naturally. "I'm not going to." Years of apologies, empty promises, and twisted priorities flash through my mind. Madison deserves more. I deserve more. When Michael finally shows up at the hospital, 18 hours later, still reeking of alcohol and wearing the same club outfit, he finds not just an exhausted wife and a brand new daughter, but a woman who's finally seen the toxic pattern our marriage had become. "We need to talk," I say, as he tries to hug me. But not now. Now it's all about Madison. He looks confused, disoriented, as if not understanding the gravity of the moment he missed, the choices he made. I look at our daughter and know, with a certainty I've never felt before, that the real work is just beginning, the birth of my new life. The first few weeks with Madison are a mix of intense joy and hard conversations. Michael tries to make up for all his absences with expensive gifts and promises of change, but I'm no longer moved by empty words. I scheduled our first session with Dr. Jennifer Thompson, a mediator specializing in separations. In her office waiting room, Michael holds my hand, trying to keep up appearances. I gently let go, one more gesture marking the end. Dr. Thompson greets us with a sympathetic look. I explain our situation, his constant absences, our reversed priorities, the solitary delivery. Michael interrupts several times, trying to justify himself. It was just a trip, he insists. Everyone makes mistakes. Dr. Thompson watches as I recount years of accumulated disappointments. Birthday nights spent alone, work emergencies that always coincided with important moments, friends who always came first. Madison is with Ashley during these meetings. My sister has become an even stronger pillar through this process. As we discuss dividing assets, custody, and child support, Michael finally seems to grasp the seriousness of the situation. "You can't be serious," he says, his voice trembling. "We're a family. Exactly because we're a family that I need to do this," I reply, surprisingly calm. Madison deserves happy and healthy parents, even if we're separated. The following meetings are tense. Michael swings between anger and pleading. He brings flowers home, promises therapy, swears he'll change, but every promise only reinforces my decision. I don't want more promises. I want actions, respect, real commitment. Dr. Thompson helps us set clear boundaries. We define visitation schedules, financial responsibilities, communication rules. Michael resists at first, but eventually he admits there's no going back. When we sign the preliminary separation papers, I feel a mix of sadness and relief. One door closes, and several others open. I look at Madison sleeping in her stroller next to my chair as we wrap up the paperwork. She's so small, so innocent. I can't explain it, but I'm sure that one day she'll understand that sometimes we need to split up to become better people. The new apartment is smaller, but the natural light streaming through the big windows makes everything feel more alive. As I unpack the last boxes, Madison plays on the living room rug, discovering her reflection in the mirror I just hung on the wall. This space is ours, just ours, and every decorating decision reflects that. My parents helped with the move, not just by carrying boxes, but by giving me emotional support. Dad installed shelves in Madison's room while Mom organized the kitchen, both filling the space with a kind of love I hadn't felt at home in a long time. "You'll always have a place to come back to," Mom said, but deep down I know I won't need it. The first night alone with Madison was both scary and liberating. No more Michael coming home late, no arguments about responsibilities, no constant tension. Just me and my daughter, creating our own routine. I learned to appreciate the silence of the early mornings during feedings, turning moments of exhaustion into times of reflection and planning. Ashley shows up almost every day, sometimes just for coffee or to help with Madison while I sort out my documents. She encourages me to pick up old projects, dreams that had been left behind during the marriage. I find my old sketchbook at the bottom of a box. It had been years since I'd picked up a pencil to create. Michael's visits are now regular, following the agreement we set up. He comes to pick up Madison on the agreed weekends, and I notice small changes in his behavior. He's more punctual, more attentive to her needs. Maybe the separation is doing him some good too. I start redecorating the apartment little by little, buying pieces that express my personality. A reading armchair in the corner of the living room, colorful cushions that I picked out myself, plants that bring life into the space. Every little change is an affirmation of my independence. The bills come in, and with them, the reality of living on my own. I organize spreadsheets, make budgets, and learn to manage my money in a way I never had to before. Michael's child support helps, but I know I need to build my own financial stability. On the toughest nights, when Madison is especially fussy, or the loneliness hits hard, I fight the urge to call Michael. Instead, I write in a journal, turning anxiety into words, fears into plans. I realize I'm stronger than I ever imagined. The routine gradually settles in, waking up early, preparing the bottle, changing diapers, singing Madison to sleep. Between tasks, I start looking into online courses, remote work opportunities, possibilities to re-enter the job market. The future, which once seemed terrifying, now appears full of possibilities. One day, while tidying up the room, I find our old wedding photo. I look at that smiling Sarah and hardly recognize her. Not because I'm sad or regretful, but because the woman I am today is so much more complete, so much more aware of her own worth. I tuck the photo away in a box, a part of my history, but no longer my present or future. An unexpected email changes everything. William, my former coworker, is starting a new design project and remembered my past work. At first, I hesitate. Madison is only 5 months old, and the idea of balancing motherhood with a job seems daunting. But the proposal is tempting. Flexible schedules, the possibility of remote work, and projects I've always dreamed of doing. I set up a virtual meeting with William while Madison naps. He smiles as he sees my old portfolio, the projects I developed before the marriage took over my professional life. Your talent has only grown, Sarah. We need that creativity on our team. His confidence in me awakens something that had been dormant. I take it slow, picking up smaller projects that I can work on during Madison's naps. Ashley offers to watch her a few afternoons a week, and my mom rearranges her schedule to help out on Wednesdays. Gradually, I find my rhythm, rediscovering the designer that always lived inside me. The first project is challenging, a full campaign for an important client. I spend nights working after Madison falls asleep, refining every detail. When I finally present it, the feedback exceeds my expectations. William looks at me through the screen with pride. You haven't lost your touch. In fact, you're even better. With the first success, more projects start coming in. I set up a small office in just a corner of the living room, with a desk from where I can see Madison playing in her little playpen while I work. I learn to be more efficient, using every productive moment to the fullest. Late-night feedings turn into impromptu brainstorming sessions, ideas flowing as I rock my daughter to sleep. Michael is surprised when I tell him about my work. Are you sure you can handle it? He asks, that tone of doubt that used to make me back down. This time, I reply confidently, not only can I handle it, I'm already doing it. His silence speaks volumes about how things have changed. The first in-person meeting with the team is a milestone. I wear something that makes me feel professional and confident, leaving Madison with my mom. At the office, I meet other parents juggling career and family. A colleague gives me priceless tips on routines and organization. For the first time in a long while, I feel like I belong to something bigger than just being a mom or an ex-wife. Months pass, and my reputation grows. Clients begin to specifically request me, praising my unique perspective. William promotes me to creative director for special projects, a role that allows me to manage my own time and team. At home, I establish clear boundaries between work and family. When I'm with Madison, I'm totally present. I learn to say no to meetings out of hours, setting realistic expectations with clients. My productivity increases precisely because I know the value of my time. The money I start earning brings a freedom I never knew before. I open a savings account for Madison, start investing, plan future trips. Every deposit is proof that I can build something solid on my own. One night, after wrapping up an important project, I look at Madison asleep and smile. She's never going to remember these transitional moments, but she'll grow up seeing her mother chasing her dreams, creating, building. And that, I realize, is the biggest project I've ever undertaken. 9 months after the separation, I meet Michael at the park for another Madison handover. There's something different about him. The impeccable suit replaced by casual clothes, his demeanor noticeably lighter. He hands me our daughter along with a cup of coffee, a simple gesture that catches me off guard. I figured you might need it after that huge project you wrapped up yesterday, he says. I realize that he's been following my professional achievements through mutual friends. Madison is starting to take her first steps, and Michael has been present during these moments. Not in the way I imagined during my pregnancy, but in a new, more mature way. He even started therapy on his own, something I never thought possible. I needed to understand why I always ran from responsibilities, he tells me during an honest conversation. I've changed too. The initial anger has given way to a deeper understanding of both of us. In my own therapy sessions, I discovered patterns that made me settle for less than I deserved. The insecure woman who tolerated excuses is no longer here. In her place is someone who knows her worth and sets firm boundaries. Ashley notices the changes in both of us. You two seem more like yourselves now that you're separated, she observes during a Sunday lunch. She's right. Without the pressure to keep up a failing marriage, we've each found our own path. At work, I take on increasingly challenging projects. William tells me that my creativity is sharper and more authentic. Motherhood has added a new dimension to your work, he comments, and I realize it's true. Every design, every concept I create now holds a depth that wasn't there before. The once terrifying nights alone have become moments of self-care. I've taken up painting again, a hobby I abandoned when the marriage began. My apartment is now dotted with unfinished canvases, silent witnesses to my artistic and personal growth. Michael has also discovered new interests. He swapped late nights out with friends for cooking classes, and now he makes a point of cooking for Madison on his visitation days. I want her to have different memories than the ones I had with my dad, he explains, and I see genuine sincerity in his words. Our communication has completely changed. The tense messages about schedules and responsibilities have been replaced by constructive conversations about Madison's development. We share photos, exchange advice, and celebrate her little achievements together. On one particularly reflective afternoon, I find an old photo album. The images from our wedding no longer bring pain. They're just chapters of a story that brought us here. I keep the album with care, now understanding that not all happy endings need to follow the classic script. Madison, with her contagious laugh and tentative steps, is the greatest symbol of our transformation. She will never know her parents as a traditional couple, but she will have something just as precious: two people who learned to be better apart than they were together. The last photo we took, the three of us together at her first birthday, tells a different story than the one I had imagined during my pregnancy. It isn't a story of failure, as I feared at first, but of growth, of the courage to change, and of love that transforms. In all our expressions, I see peace. The peace that comes not from keeping up appearances, but from truly being who we are. Establishing healthy co-parenting was a gradual process. It started with little adjustments: a shared calendar for Madison's doctor appointments, a WhatsApp group dedicated solely to her matters, decisions made together about her routine. Michael began consulting me about changes in his visitation schedule, instead of just telling me offhand. When Madison caught her first bad cold, he came over to help with those tough nights. It wasn't about us anymore. It was about being the best parents possible for our daughter. The handovers, which used to be tense and rushed, turned into moments of update. We talked about her development, shared our worries and triumphs. She said, "Daddy," this morning, Michael tells me, eyes shining. I smile genuinely, happy he's there for these moments. We created our own rituals. On Wednesdays, Michael leaves work early to take Madison to her swimming class. On the Sundays she's with me, I make sure to send him photos and videos so he won't miss any special moments. And when she's with him, he does the same. Important decisions are discussed calmly. When it came time to choose a daycare, we sat together and researched our options. Michael brought a comparison spreadsheet. I contributed by visiting schools in person. We reached a consensus that benefited Madison above all. I've learned to recognize his strengths as a father. Michael has endless patience for games and playtime, something I don't always have after a long day at work. He's noticed that I'm better at setting routines and boundaries. Instead of competing, we began to complement each other. At family gatherings, we've found a new balance. We no longer have to pretend to be a couple, but we maintain a cordiality that puts everyone at ease. At my mom's birthday, Michael came to pick up Madison and ended up staying for the cake, chatting naturally with everyone. There are still challenges. We sometimes have different opinions on aspects of raising her, like bedtime or limits on sweets, but we've learned to discuss these differences respectfully, always focusing on Madison's well-being. When she started talking more, I realized we needed to be even more careful with our communication. No bad-mouthing each other, no using Madison as a messenger. We set clear rules about handling delicate situations. At one particularly significant moment, Michael came to talk about his new girlfriend. He wanted my opinion on how to gradually introduce her into Madison's life. I appreciated his thoughtfulness, and together we made a gradual plan that respected our daughter's adjustment time. Co-parenting has taught us a new kind of love, not a romantic one, but one based on mutual respect and a shared commitment to our daughter. At the daycare meetings, we sit side by side, proud of Madison's progress, united in our role as parents. One day, while watching Michael play with Madison in the park, I realized we had made it. It wasn't the traditional happy ending, but it was ours. Two dedicated parents, a beloved daughter, and a mature relationship that can serve as an example for her in the future. Subscribe to the channel and leave a like to access more stories like this. Success came naturally as a result of all my hard work and dedication. The project I led for a major international brand gained attention in the specialized media, and William even offered me a partnership at the studio. "You transformed our company," he said during the proposal meeting. "We want you to be an official part of our future." My new office boasts an entire wall of glass overlooking the city. On one of the shelves, I placed the very first piece of art Madison made at daycare, a colorful splash of paint that, to me, represents pure creative freedom. I set up a little kids area in the corner for the days I need to bring her along. The team I lead has grown, and I'm proud to have implemented policies that support other parents. Flexible hours, remote work options when needed, dedicated spaces for nursing. I've turned my own experiences into positive changes for others. Financially, I reached a stability I never imagined possible. I bought my own apartment, bigger and closer to the office. Madison has a room fully decorated with her favorite characters, and I finally set up the art studio I'd always dreamed of having. The professional recognition came with invitations to speak and mentor. Sharing my story inspires other women to go after their independence. At one of those events, a young mom hugged me through tears, saying that my journey had given her the courage to start over. But the greatest achievement isn't in awards on the wall or numbers in the bank account. It's in Madison's smile when she sees me coming home, in the confidence I feel making my own decisions, in the peace of knowing I built something entirely my own. A design magazine even called me the revelation of the year. I smiled reading the article, thinking about how the real revelations happened inside me, the discovery of my strength, my ability to reinvent myself, and my worth beyond being just a mom or an ex-wife. Today, Madison turns 1. We organized a small party in the garden of my new apartment. Michael arrived early to help with the preparations, bringing the cake he made himself, his newest skill. I watch our daughter, smiling in her yellow dress, surrounded by people who truly love her. It's surreal to think about everything that happened since that night at the hospital. Every tough choice, every moment of doubt brought us here. Michael is different now, more present, more mature. I'm different too, stronger, more secure. Madison is the best part of both of us, growing up in an environment of love and mutual respect. Ashley takes photos as Madison tries her first bites of cake. My parents chat happily with the new friends I've made at work. Michael's girlfriend plays with the other kids. It's a scene I never imagined a year ago, but now it feels perfectly natural. When everyone starts to leave, I pick up Madison and head out to the balcony. The sunset paints the sky in pinks and oranges. Michael comes over holding a cup of coffee. "We did a good job, didn't we?" he says, looking at our daughter almost dozing on my shoulder. I nod with a sincere smile. This isn't the story I planned to tell. It's better. It's a story of courage, of growth, of realizing that sometimes you have to lose something to find something even greater. Madison will grow up knowing that love comes in many forms, that strength is born from adversity, and that happy endings don't always follow the path you expect. Subscribe to the channel and leave a like to access more stories like this.